What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
Hello everyone and welcome to Drive to Wishes. This event has been established by Make-A-Wish International with the aim of raising money to grant wishes for critically ill children around the world. And with the help of the generous sim racing community, this has already been achieved before racing has even begun. We have an 8-hour race today using a familiar car and track combination for iRacers. It is the GTPs and GT3s on the iconic Le Mans circuit, unquestionably the most iconic endurance circuit in the world. Over 150 teams and 300 drivers are participating in this incredible event, and I'll be showing as much of it as possible over the course of today. There will be many of us chatting throughout this race for you today, but to begin with, my name is Sam Fitzpatrick and I have alongside me Ron Mons. Jonathan Grabowski is streaming this onto YouTube and Twitch, and this should be a lot of fun, Ron. Over the course of 8 hours, I haven't done one of these endurance events for a while. They are always a lot of fun, and it's fantastic that we're doing it for an amazing course.
Well, in the nearly 19 years I've been on this planet, I've never done an endurance race, so you're the veteran of these endurance race broadcasts, but you mentioned a very good point there. We're racing for a fantastic cause here, Make-A-Wish. It's a very well-known organization across the world. It's a wonderful organization, and it brings kind of tears to my eyes when I checked a look at the donation link this morning and saw that there were, I think, nearly $11,000 raised at the $10,000 goal that we had even before a car turned a wheel on track. So it's fantastic that the sim racing community, regardless of how divided it may seem at times, has united for a great cause here. To race at Le Mans, it's a track and car combination that many of us know, so I'm sure we'll expect some pretty good racing here for the next 9 hours, and it's nice that we're racing for a good cause too.
And already you can see everyone lining up together, doing some formation in this qualifying session, or practice session, apologies. We will be going into qualifying in a few minutes time, but yeah, this is an awesome sight, and it is phenomenal. The amounts of drivers, the amounts of teams who are involved in this championship. We are doing 3 different splits tonight. That is how many people want to take part in this event, and as you were saying before, the fundraising has been phenomenal. The original goal was $10,000 to raise. We've surpassed that. It's an amazing achievement. However, you can still donate. There are links in the descriptions. As my speaking gets interrupted by a little bit of bumping and bang, that doesn't matter too much. So just come around the final section of that. But yeah, do donate using the links in the descriptions below, and yeah, you can make your impact worth it as well. Well, let's have a mention of these cars. GTPs and GT3s, really the 2 most popular categories on iRacing, at least for, you know, the higher license classes, or the A and B licensed drivers. What makes these cars so iconic, do you think, Ron?
Well, I think it's mainly just the accessibility. You know, these cars are probably the most talked about, you could probably say. I mean, F1's probably talked about more nowadays, but endurance racing has always been a big fixture of motorsports. It's how racing started off. Originally, motorsports was just a test of man and machine, and that's really what endurance racing is to this day. It's a test of engineering integrity. It's a test of testing these drivers and trying to push them to their absolute limits, whether it be just trying to get the most out of their cars or getting the most out of themselves. So it's a very nice, it feels more grounded in the roots of motorsports. So I think that could be the reason why these prototype races and GT3 races are as iconic as they are. And GT3 cars that we're running in the lower classes, the GT classes, maybe that's where they got the name from, the GT3 classes have probably been the most popular, you could say, classes of sim racing over the past few years. It's gained massive in popularity, so it's been a very big fixture of sim racing for the past few years. So you get the grassroots feel, well, I say the grassroots, the more roots feel in how motorsports was meant to be at the very beginning, and you've also got some very popular cars here as well. It creates a beautiful class, and of course the GTP cars have experienced a nice little boost in popularity. They got all the 4 main GTP cars into the iRacing service this past year. It's been wonderful work by the iRacing team to get these cars loaded into the sim, so that could be another reason why we have so many cars turning out here. I think the original goal was about 55 teams. I think we have north of 140 teams racing across 3 splits that we plan to cover over the next 9 hours.
Yeah, that is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to everyone for the commitment to this series, and thanks to all the partners as well. We'll be going through them a little bit later on, but particularly Geodesic for being a big helping hand in organising this, as we've got a few burnouts now on the and I use this word a lot, iconic. But I think that is the word to describe this this Le Mans circuit, as a few of the drivers getting underway. We will be getting this race underway in about 23 minutes time. We've got a few more minutes of this practice session where we're going to have some more choreographed driving. Then we're going to have 15 minutes of qualifying, and then of course the proper racing begins. And you can see the drivers now get, hopefully we don't see too much of that later on. But this is a good time run. Get this out of the way, and then the 8 hours will hopefully be nice and clean.
Yeah. Get the crashes out of the way during the practice and qualifying sessions, then come time for the race. You don't want to crash, especially on lap 1. That would be such a shame to crash on lap 1 of an 8-hour race. But I don't know, maybe this should be an incentive for next year's Drive for Wishes charity event. Have the drivers pitch in some money for every incident point they get. We'd probably be north of like $50,000 by the end of this broadcast. So I think these drivers, we're just racing for fun here. We're racing for a good cause, so we might see some drivers just goofing around a little bit. It'll be nice to see some drivers messing around. We might do a little bit of trivia on this broadcast. Who knows what's going to happen over the next 9 hours, but as we're seeing some wall riding going down the Mulsanne straightaway. Not sure what kind of weird tactic that is. Actually, no, I think that might be a callback to the old trick they had a few years ago that was actually banned by iRacing of driving on the grass to cool off the tires. So maybe that's a callback to that, or whatever that was. It was definitely something that we saw on this broadcast. I think we have a lot in store, and hopefully the viewers, wherever they are watching across the world, whether it be in the Americas, whether it be in Europe, whether it be in Asia, whether it be in Africa, regardless of where you're watching from, fingers crossed that we put on a very good race and a very good broadcast.
Yes. Absolutely. Hopefully it all goes well. I'm sure it will do. And we're going to have a few different winners come the end of the event. The cars that we're currently seeing, this is split 1. This is the top split. But if you are in split 2 or split 3 and tuning in, do stick with the broadcast, because we will be changing between the splits during the event. We'll probably do about half an hour on each and kind of rotate around it like that. But we'll see how the broadcast goes. And welcome to everyone in the YouTube chat as well, and the Twitch chat as well, for posting, and we've got Boosted Media watching along, Daniel Berry Connor, and Kurt the Buzzwold as well, all watching along. At least I'm seeing that on YouTube. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for supporting this. And if your car isn't on track at the moment, do not fear. We will most likely get to see everyone, even though there are a lot of cars, by the end of the 8 hours.
I think we have a lot of storylines to touch on here. A lot of names that we're familiar with. Some people in the world of sim racing that are very familiar names that will be racing here as well. As long as I'm trying to spit my words out here properly, we've got a lot of familiar names here. We've got a lot of storylines that we have to touch on. So we're definitely gonna have to bounce around through the splits, because we've got some very familiar names racing here tonight. So we've got plenty in store.
Yeah, gonna be a lot going on out here, and we will try to keep up to date with it as best we possibly can. As we're just coming to the end of this session. Currently got Owen Carroll up on the screen, a driver who I've met in person on several occasions. He's a part of Apex Racing Academy, and he is very, very good. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Owen, Ron, but he's over 10K. I appreciate that there's a lot of people who may not be familiar with iRacing and sim racing generally, perhaps, tuning in for the stream. If so, welcome. This is what we spend hours of our weekends doing rather than doing other stuff. And, well, it's this platform is iRacing. You can drive lots of different cars for a very long time. And it's a really good sort of host for events like this. We've got over 50 cars going and over 100 drivers going in each of the 3 splits. I know Cal is one of the absolute best on all of iRacing, over 10k iRating, which puts him inside, I think, the top 30 rated drivers on the sim. And so if anyone can beat this guy, they're doing very well.
Yeah, I think he has a very good I rating. As you said, he might need some matrix moves to avoid that Ferrari that was tumbling coming out of that corner there. That was, I think that was one of the newer Ferraris tumbling through Tetra Rouge, which is a corner that might be a little bit difficult for the Ferraris. We've seen throughout the season that the new Ferrari here on the iRacing platform doesn't respond too well to the curbs. We've seen it across all different gambits of GT3 racing on iRacing. The Ferraris don't respond too well to the curbs, but that was some very extracurricular moves that Ferrari had to pull off to be tumbling there. It was quite comedic how we just slowly panned following Owen there in the GTP car, and we just saw that Ferrari tumbling coming out of Tetra Rouge. That was kind of funny.
I might see that a few times. I really hope that everyone keeps fairly clean. I think one of the good things for drivers, if they do have an issue though in this event run, and this is a bit unusual compared to most endurance events, is that we have a couple of random full course yellows. Now, full course yellow is when it's basically a safety car. That's what we call it in Europe, at least. For Americans, it will be a full course yellow. Everyone packs up behind a pace car, and that means that you could be 3 minutes behind. This is a long circuit. You could be 3 minutes behind, and before you know it, you're right with the race leaders. And also adding to that is that we have wave rounds. So you could be a lap down, but you could be perhaps 6 minutes down the leaders. You get a lap back, you join to the back of the train, and all of a sudden, Ron, you're sitting 20 seconds off the race leaders. So these guys, especially with the faster pairs they've got available as well, they're going to be in play come the end of the race. They've just got to keep on hertzing in the laps, keeping themselves in the race, and they could well get a very good result come the end.
Yeah, I think it's a big fixture of endurance racing. It's really a test of survival, and I'm sure this race will be definitely similar to that. I mean, we have 8 hours of racing ahead of us. Anything can happen. We could have massive accidents. We could have people having some kind of disconnects. Certainly, fingers crossed, we don't have a disaster like this past official the official 24 hours of Le Mans on R Factor was earlier this year, where like half the field like disconnected like 50 times during the race. So fingers crossed we won't have anything like that. But I think there's plenty of things that can happen for any of these drivers up and down the field, whether they're starting at the front of the GTP order here in race 1, here in split 1 I should say, or starting in the back of the GT3 category in split 3. There's a lot that can happen, and really the key for these drivers is they just have to keep it clean. And even if you don't keep it clean and get some scrapes on your car, you just have to manage those scrapes and just don't absolutely wreck your race car, because as you said, we do have fast repairs available for these drivers. So they just need to keep their cars clean, keep their cars on the road, and if they just play their cards right, they might be they might be able to get a really good result here by the checkered flag.
A lot of familiar names in this split. We've got Aidan Millwood, who's got a very successful YouTube channel. I've watched a fair few amount of his F1 videos over the years. We've also got Dan Suzuki, who's one of the biggest streamers on sim racing. Aaron Cowell, we've already mentioned him, one of the fastest drivers in sim racing, along with a streamer himself. Many others who I'm sure I'm not giving full credit to. I know we've got David Sampson, who was otherwise known as Sampsoid in the race as well. He's not currently driving, but he will be present later on, and many others. So do keep an eye out on those familiar names to see how they do, and we will be giving them a hard time, particularly David Sampson. I was chatting to him only yesterday on a broadcast, and I promised him not to bully him on stream, but unfortunately some promises have to be broken.
I cannot condone any sort of bullying that happens in the next 9 hours of this broadcast. I'm just going to waive all responsibility, get the dirt off of my shoulders. So if anything bad happens, I'm not legally responsible for any sort of repercussions slash therapy that that he might need after after today's broadcast.
Everyone has gone away from the track. Everyone's disappeared, and yeah, everyone's now back on circuit. But you can see the circuit's very quiet now. Why is it very quiet? This is because we are now in qualifying, and the drivers have the circuit to themselves. You don't have to deal with traffic in qualifying. You have the circuit completely to yourself. However, everyone is currently out on track at the same time. So Alex Julesma is out there driving for Missed Apex Predators. But so are all the other cars, some 50 other cars currently setting their lap times, but they just can't see each other. And if there is anyone who isn't familiar with sim racing, who is thinking, what's going on, do please send us a message in the Twitch or YouTube chat, and we'll try to answer it and clarify anything to avoid any confusion.
This will be a nice instructional video of how iRacing works. So we'll have to fill in the viewers on the world of iRacing. You might be a little bit more familiar with iRacing than I am, Sam. So you'll definitely have to do some of the heavy lifting. But as you said, just anyone that has any questions, put in the YouTube chat, show your support. This is a fantastic event, and it's nice to see so many people in the YouTube chat already. I'm sure there's many viewers in the Twitch chat as well, so it's nice to have a nice viewership right now. It's nice even before the race even starts. We've got I think 60 viewers right now on the YouTube stream here on Make-A-Wish International. It's fantastic stuff right now.
Yeah, it is really fantastic. Lyndon Lee, is he pushing, or is that car just very quiet? It's like an Audi R18 out there at the moment. I don't think he is fully pushing. So he is in cruise mode out there. Now, this is something, and I have to be fair, say thank you to David Sampson for telling me this. They do a warm-up lap because they need to charge the battery. I think you have to do an entire warm-up lap to charge the battery, and then you do a push lap, I believe. So I think that's what's going on here. So if you're going fast on this first lap, it usually means you don't necessarily know what you're doing. So actually going slowly on the first lap is an indicator that they're probably going to do better, ironically.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we'll have to keep our eyes on, not only in this qualifying session, but in the race as well. We'll have to keep an eye out on the battery charge of these drivers. It's something that they have to balance and keep a real firm eye on. And maybe we'll see some distracted driving as well, as we see Millward having a big slide there coming out of the second chicane on the Mulsanne straightaway. I believe it's the last edition on this circuit, if I'm not mistaken, the other chicanes on the back straightaway here at this Circuit de la Sarthe here in Le Mans, France. And it's a very tricky chicane to get right, so we might see some battling there as well. This might be a very good overtaking opportunity here at the end of that final straightaway going into turns 14 and 15 there of Mulsanne, so there'll be plenty of overtaking opportunities for these drivers. I'm sure a lot of them will try and use those on lap one. We might see some nice dicing and some nice side-by-side action. We'll just have to wait and see by the time this qualifying session finishes. We get that formation lap underway, and we take the green flag here in probably about 20 minutes time.
Thank you to, we've got a lot of different kind of partners for this event, and there'll be there's some links to them in the descriptions. Do certainly check out their products, because they've been very generous with their help in this event, and also you can see them rotating up in the top right as well of the screen. But one of the sponsors for this was Gomez Sim Racing. And Gomez very kindly gave away a sim racing wheel. Now, anyone who's not familiar with Gomez, they have some of the highest end equipment that you can possibly get when it comes to sim racing. If you want a top quality sim racing wheel, like Gomez is what sim racers dream of, basically. So they very generously gave away a sim racing wheel, and that was won by Team Vanderlei a couple of days ago. So congratulations to Team Vanderlei. They are very fortunate, and that was a prize raffle eligible to anyone who entered this event. So thanks to Gomez for giving away that awesome prize. You do not get much better sim racing prizes than a Gomez wheel.
I think I have a feeling that that one Gomez wheel that I was given away might be worth more than everything that I have invested into sim racing. The sim rig
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
have, the wheel, the pedals, the computer, everything I have on iRacing. I think that might be worth more than everything that it might be even worth more than my soul. So it's nice. It's a very nice charitable thing for them to do, to just give away a wheel. So that was a, nice little thing that was discussed with a lot of the competitors, and it was nice to see them get that giveaway and win it. So that was a nice little storyline to follow as well.
That's currently Effect Simulations 909 at the top. Andrew Dawson, a driver who I'm quite familiar with. I've chatted about Andrew a decent amount over the last few months in various championships that I've been involved in. It's currently or Effect Simulations ahead of Turtle Sim Racing, Samsoid Canaan Esports. I believe Samsoid Canaan Esports, that's Mark Custers and David Sampson. So that will be a very strong team. It is currently Mark Custers in that. Now, I believe those top two may have done push laps initially. I think many of those other LMTHs did sort of slow laps initially to get the battery and the car into the right condition. So expect those times to improve significantly. Expect that timing board to change significantly. In the GT3s, meanwhile, it is Lease Esports, well clear of missed Apex predators. But again, take that with a grain of salt. It may well be that the drivers are just prepping their cars for that first lap before going for a push second lap.
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta keep in mind. It's very unfamiliar to certainly for me as a more open wheel leaning kind of driver here in sim racing. These drivers, the tires take so long to kind of get into a good operating temperature and scrub off all the grease and solvents that they have on them for them to last so long, as we have a crash at the final chicane there. But I think it takes so long for these tires to heat up that order that we see right now, about halfway through this qualifying session, by the time the qualifying session ends 15 minutes in, that will definitely be completely different. So I'm sure the order that you see on the left-hand side of your screen right now is definitely going to change here. So definitely some very competitive times right now. But right now, the pole in GTP is actually much slower than the fastest time that we saw in practice. But right now, we've got a flyer there. Oh yeah, you can see right there, a second faster for the Satellite Racing for Wishes team there. This at 3:19.1, so that was a very competitive lap for him as they actually pull off the track now. So they decide, you know what, that's it for this qualifying session. I'm going to sit back, relax, have a chill out barbecue, maybe even crack open a beer or two. So they're going to be very confident with that time. So we'll see if that sticks here in the final half of this qualifying session.
Yeah, we will see if it works. It's very unusual that the drivers, I think, can go back to the pits, right? After their laps, which is... and then I guess if they do come back to the pits, will they reload at the start point, or will they come out of the pits? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like I should know that, but it's just it's rare that you have that scenario. Usually it is just 2 laps when it comes to these low qualifying sessions, but instead they have 4 laps that they can set, which, being such a long circuit, is pretty much all the time that they would need. Still Lease Esports at the top of the GT3s. However, many of the cars are coming up to complete their second lap time right now, so expect that to change quite significantly. Missed Apex Predators move up to second position. Lease Esports go even faster. They are proving themselves the team to beat. Fury Simsport move up to second position now themselves. And I think Eagle Speed Academy improving. Texas Speed Sim Racing Red improving as well. And still another time lap. It looks like these GT3s are still pushing.
I think Eagle Speed Academy is probably the coolest name that we have in this race. It just sounds, it sounds awesome. I don't know, maybe it's just my American thinking, seeing Eagle and being like, yeah, USA, but I think that's a pretty cool name, so I might be secretly rooting for them just to have a cool name to pronounce there in the GT3 category.
Now, let us know in chat, do you like this name? Is that good?
Gonna publicly embarrass me.
You may think, all right, that's good. That's not too difficult. For us, there's and there's There's an extra M in one of the teams, and we've got to distinguish the two of them. It's not very fair, honestly. In fact, I say that I am only seeing one car. I thought there were maybe 2. I saw 2 on the sign up, but maybe it's only the one. So we may have may be saved on this one. It may just be Racing. Let us know what you think of that team name. It's original. I've not ever used it.
I can also see currently P11 in the GTP category, Cornish Lawnmower Racing. That's definitely a unique name, I will say. We've got some pretty cool names. You've got BMW Propaganda there. I believe that's Owen there, currently running in P15 in this qualifying session. So we've got some very unique names here. He's actually setting in a very good time. So if he manages to stick it on pole here in this BMW, he'll definitely have a lot of BMW-related propaganda to spew in the iRacing chat between the end of the qualifying session and by the time we take the green flag.
Am I going back? So it seems like if you do tow, I think you do reset back in your starting spot. You don't have to do an entire outlap at least, so it does make it a bit more possible for these drivers to do some extra laps. Here comes Stats Light Racing for Wishes. It's really tricky because sometimes I say racing is coming across the line, and so I'm really conscious about umming and ahhing during this broadcast, because I will accidentally say a team's name every time. So I do. Lee is not going to improve. They're currently in second place in GTP. However, Stats Light Racing for Wishes are still out there. Not seeing any personal best sectors on this lap. Don't think it's going to be improvement. Bernstorff, Bandettini moving up to third position, though, themselves a half second off the bottom.
We've got a very close field, all things considered, for a over 3-minute lap time. The fact that the top 10 right now in the GTP category are only separated by about under 3 seconds. Usually with a much shorter lap, that'd be a little bit upsetting, but fairly close, all things considered, right now. So I think, fingers crossed, that with a very close qualifying order, as Effect Simulations 909 goes onto the pole at a 3:18.6. So they set in a stormer of a lap right before the finish of the session, and they move up into the pole for the GTP.
Thank you to the YouTube chat for notifying me that they will actually go through, they will have to come out of the pits if they do tow back. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage for drivers if they do reset their tyres. That will waste a little bit of time, because he got to do an entire outlap, and an outlap here is 3.5 minutes. Here is Levesque. Did he improve on that time? I think he may have done. A 53.51, maybe, yeah, he did. So he is even further clear, 1.1 seconds clear of the rest. Amazing stuff. He is 8K though, to be fair, it's Levesque. So that is, well, how many is that? Is that 2 of me and 1 of you, Ron? I think combined, I'm currently 3.5K.
I don't even know what my iRacing K is. I don't really do a lot of official racing, so I might be a little bit embarrassed to admit that on live right now, but it's yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that.
Sam Huisman saying, or Houseman, apologies. I remember Bono, who we saw Bono House, so Sam, do please correct me on if I've said your name wrong. This is split 1, right? When is split 3? This is split 1. That is absolutely correct. Split 3 will be coming up later on. We haven't got strict timings for it, but I reckon we'll probably go to split 2 or 3, maybe on about half an hour into the race, something like that. But, you know, let us know in chat if you think it's getting exciting in split 2 or 3, and we that might influence our choice as to who we go over. We will. It'll be fairly balanced by the end, but yeah, we don't want to miss if something really exciting is going on. There's a fight for the lead, for example, so do let us know what is going on out on chat, because it'll be very confusing for us to keep up with everything that's going on, and your help is very much appreciated.
And speaking of the YouTube chat, I see Life Delicious said Eagle Speed Racing Academy does sound like a rad name, to be honest, with the smiley face there with the colon and the other capital D, so I can see that I have the support there with the name. I think it's a cool name regardless. It sounds like something you'd see in the Top Gun reboot. I don't know, they make a third Top Gun movie here, fingers crossed. I mean, Tom Cruise, he's been in every single action movie, and I'm sure even though the guy's approaching his 60s, he could probably still make a third Top Gun movie. It sounds like something you'd see in like a Top Gun movie, so I think that's maybe why I lean towards liking that name, but I can see that people in the YouTube chat are supporting that name, so I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Or, you know, clip that, and maybe there'll be some like intellectual property rights that you can claim on, and make 1% of the film's earnings, perhaps. So I think that's worth doing. We have qualifying complete. That's it. And so we are very soon going to be getting into the race. And well, this is a big moment, an amazing event being put on. This is Drive for Wishes, and this is pretty much the start of it all. Get ready, everyone. 8 hours of racing coming up, and we've got a big grid as well, so we'll try to go through it quickly. Effect Simulations 908 on pole position. That's Hydro Race Geodesic Racing. Geeks Energy with Fiercely 4 Black in third. Then it's That's Like Racing for Wishes. Are fifth. Then it's Bernstoff Bandaniti, Yorks Sports Racing, BMW Propaganda Team PGZ, Sampsoid Kernan Esports, Turtle Sim Racing, Hydro Race Geodesic Racing, AZR Motorsport Black, Sim City Racing 71, Rocket Sim Sports, ST Racing Esports, Cornish Lawnmower Racing, Zella S Bandits, British Army Esports GTP, Texas Speed Sim Racing Blue, and Carolina Lawnmower Racing. I think we've also got DS Grizzle Racing and Mindless Traction, albeit those bottom two did not set qualifying times. Then in the GT3s, we've got Lease Esports on pole ahead of Fury Sim Sports 16.9. Then it is, or 169, apologies. Then it is Hyperion Racing 2, Mixed Apex Predators, Geeks Energy X Fiercely Forward, ETT, Muradness, Oceana Coffee, Altus Esports, Honey Competition Purple, Flanders Racing Team, Team RedX 513, Texas Speed Sim Racing Red, Eagle Speed Academy Esports, Fury Sim Sport 142, British Army Esports GT3, Team RedX 515, AZR Motorsports, Ava Racing, Boosted Media, and Bice Baby.
Some interesting names all throughout this field, to say the least.
I think Bice Baby was a fantastic conclusion to that, a crescendo, if you will.
Yeah, that was the beautiful climax to end all climaxes. That was just right at the end there. Perfect. That was probably why Tyson decided not to qualify. He just wanted that to be the end. So Tyson, if you're watching this, probably not, because he's probably streaming on Twitch his point of view right now. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, as the drivers round the Porsche curves, the most probably the most fun bit of the circuit, but very little margin for error. The good news about the Porsche curves, if you do bin it here, you haven't got too far to go into the pits at least. 8 hours. I mean, it's always a question: how aggressive will they be off the start? Do you think the fact that the event is how it is, you know, this is a charity event, people will be a little bit more kind off the line, or do you think it will be the same as any other official series race?
I think these drivers might be a little bit aggressive, even though they are racing for a good cause. The money's already been raised, and I think these drivers are just going to go for all that glory to claim that you won the first ever Make-A-Wish event brought to you on iRacing. I think that would be a nice thing to put in any sim racer's resume, so that might be the reason why we might see some aggression here. We'll just have to wait and see how these next 8 hours of racing transpire.
Yeah, let's see what is going to happen. The pole sitter Effect Simulations, driven by Andrew Dawson, will take us to the line, and it could well be a single file start because it is extremely narrow, and I think that is what the drivers are coordinating. That is good coordination there from everyone. The Porsche pace car will pull off to the right, and the field will then be in control of Effect Simulations 909, who brings us around the final corner. The foot is down, and Drive for Wishes is underway here at Le Mans. It is Effect Simulations 909 who leads off the start here. Effect of Hydrodesic Racing. Geeks Energy Fiercely 4 Black in third position. It's very close between the top two, but the drivers move through in single file. As we go to the GTTs, and we've got Lease Esports. Interestingly, Hyperion Racing 2 have got ahead of Fury Sim Sports 16.9 before the race has even started, and I wonder if there may be some action about that one. So that's the one change so far in the GTD class.
So right now, a very clean start all around. We'll just have to wait and see how these GT drivers negotiate the first series of corners here. But so far, so clean for the drivers all up and down this field. It's a little bit different than what I was expecting. I was expecting some drivers to possibly go for some dive bombs here. But so far, so clean as we see some more shuffling in the GTP category there with, I believe, York Sports falling down a little bit. They must have had some kind of offer or just slowing down. So we've got some shuffling here in the GTP category. So right now, so far, so clean. And the GTs are currently on the Mulsanne straightaway, and you see some action there as some drivers start to battle going into the first chicane.
The slowdown at Tetra Rouge on lap 1 is really harsh. You will always see a few drivers do it. I'm sure a couple of the GTTs will do it as well. Just running a little bit too wide, and it will cost you 5 seconds and many places. Here we see Samsoid Kanan Esports under big pressure, and these are 2 caddies, but there was not the overspeed needed for Turtle Sim Racing to get past there. So yeah, just Hydro Race, Geodesic Racing, the losers out really on this first lap. Not too many other changes. York Sports Racing, I think, as well. Matt York driving that car at the moment, also having a bit of a setback. And still in the GTDs, Lee Sports leading the way by about 1.7 seconds, as you can see, but behind that is a long queue of GTDs.
I believe we have the 7 here farther down the field. Now we've got some more action here farther up the GT3 category. This is a battle right outside the top 5 right now, nestled firmly in the top 10. We've got some Ferraris battling there as they go into the second chicane there. Meanwhile, we've got some other Ferraris battling farther behind. Saw some side-by-side action there. So right now the Ferraris are probably the most dominant. I think we mentioned this back on over on Apex Racing TV, and mentioned how beautiful the Ferraris are, just introduced for this season here in iRacing. And the Ferraris are very gorgeous right now. Thankfully, those drivers are keeping them clean right now. No contact so far. Knowing my luck, I probably just jinxed it.
Into Mulsanne corner. This is where the contact is often made. Also, very easy to pick up another slowdown if you cut through that corner a bit too much. So watch out for that. Later on, there has been a change, by the way, for second place in the GTPs. Have moved up to second place. There they are. 3 places gained so far. I did get news as well that the other isn't in the race. I am very grateful, honestly. I appreciate that those drivers will be disappointed not to take part, but it makes our lives a lot easier and will be less confusing. So it's Lid and Lee in second place now, pulling away from Stats Like Racing for Wishes.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit difficult to compensate. We've got a battle now between and as they're approaching the final corner here now. Just that would be kind of funny though if they had 2 battling together. So right now an car is battling. As you can see, the Satellite Racing for Wishes car closing in there as they go down the start-finish straightaway. Very close there. We could see a dive bomb here coming into turn 1. No, we do not. Just not close enough, although they are incredibly close. And we've got a little bit of a train action forming here, as you can see the other drivers farther behind. Yeah, the Bernstorff team right behind there, only about a little over half a tenth of a second. You can see the gap between those 2 cars now. So that's spread out a little bit, but they're still pretty close. And right behind them, they've got the Hydro Race Geodesic team right behind them. So we've got a nice little train of cars here forming as they go down the Mulsanne straightaway for the second time in this race.
So this is a very tight 5-car group at the moment. Lease Esports continuing to pull away. Interesting that Fury Sunsport did get back past Hyperion Racing 2. Now that was confusing. I'm not sure what was going on at the start, but it looked like 3rd place on the grid accidentally started in 2nd place. However, those positions have now swapped around. I don't know if that was a racing move or whether that was giving up that position, but I think that seems a little bit more fair now on track. So no changes in the top 6 in the GTDs so far. There is a bit of a gap behind these guys. Seth Merchant for Altus Esports running in 7th place. And the big movers so far, Fury Simsport 142 up 6 places into 8th. Really impressive start for them.
As a fantastic start. Hopefully, for their case, they can keep up that pace and probably be in contention for a win here in the not-too-distant future. We've got some more action in the GT3s, and there's some more action in the GTP category. I saw some shuffling there in the other nice train that we were following with Satellite Racing for Wishes and the cars farther behind. It's a nice little train there going down the end of the Mulsanne straightaway, going into Mulsanne here, and it's not close enough to pull off a move here. We might see a little bit of patience and something that might play a bit of a role role in this battle here is the conservation of energy. I'm sure these drivers were definitely turning up the wick on their hybrid power units there at the start just to try and claw for every position that they could and try and maintain good position. But I think we might see some of these drivers maybe try and fiddle with their settings a little bit, maybe be a bit conservative, maybe deploy the power. Certainly a little bit conservative there for the satellite racing for Wish's driver there, as they're not really going for the move there as they approach Indianapolis. So right now we see a little bit of conservative racing here, and meanwhile the battle here that was 4 cars has now dropped off to 3. I'm not sure what happened there, but now with this 4-car battle has turned into a 3-car fight. Not sure what happened there.
Yes, that is a bit unusual since it's looking at the sector times. There are 6 sectors on this circuit. So
I believe it was a Hydro Race geodesic team that actually dropped out of that fight. I believe they're running in 4th.
You are right,
so.
yeah. They lost 6 seconds in sector 5. I think we might be able to get a replay, actually, of this.
I have a bad feeling about this going into Mulsanne. It's a very tricky corner, especially with these cars that are very tricky to get right on the brakes. And ooh, a little bit of contact there. Yeah, a little stack up there as I went through Mulsanne. Unfortunately for the number 62 car there, it ends in disaster.
Unfortunately, it didn't seem to lose them a whole lot of time because they've, I think they've just overtaken Oskari Heikkinen for 7th position. So I don't think if there is any damage to that car, it is very minimal, which is good news for them. And of course, these guys do have 8 faster pairs for this race. So if you pick up just a little bit of damage, you take the faster pair, because they're only going to do about 8 pit stops in total across this race. So often when you get 1 faster pair, you've got that choice. Do I take the aerodynamic repairs if it's going to help me by 0.2 a lap, or do I save it in case there's a bigger crash later on? In this race, no such worries. You suffer from the damage for a stint, you get that faster pair, your car is magically fixed, and you're back up to full speed only 1 stint later.
I gotta imagine that, I mean, it didn't look bad on our screen. I don't think we saw too much aerodynamic damage on the front end of that Cadillac GTP car, but I can imagine there has to be some kind of damage there. And at a track like this, which is so straight line dependent, of course, with that massive Mulsanne straightaway on the back end of the circuit, you gotta imagine that's kind of like dragging a parachute down there. But right now, it doesn't seem like it's affecting him too badly. He's still running well. Meanwhile, farther down in the GTP pack, we've got a battle here for P20 in class between Millward and McConnell there. Millward is actually running this race all by himself, so he's going to be doing the 8 hours all by his lonesome. May God have mercy on his soul and his arms by the end of this race. I'm sure he's barely going to be able to hold up a glass of water. So right now he's doing a very good job right now, currently running a P20 and slowly closing in the Cornish Lawnmower Racing car up ahead. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that name without a smile forming on my face. That's just a very goofy name that I think is hilarious.
Went to Cornwall this year. Not many lawnmowers, if I'm going to be honest. But I'm not familiar with the company, if there is one. But I like it. I like it. I also like Spice Spice Baby. They've just moved up to 8th place in GT3. So well done to them. There have been lots of changes in the GTP. So, I mean, there's a lot going on the circuit. We can't obviously catch it all. Yeah, there's just a few changes, so do look at the timing tower. Is there a live timing link we can follow? Chris Rolls asking. I believe there might be one in the chat, if I recall correctly. Or maybe there isn't, apologies. So maybe I might be able to sort that out for you and put it in the chat later on. Yes, yeah, we'll try to sort that out.
I'll have to get that sorted for the viewers there. Of course, they're probably keeping an eye on all these kinds of battles. We can't pay attention to all the battles on track right now, so it'd be nice for them to have the live timing screen to take a look at it. I know it's helps us quite a lot on these broadcasts just to look at all the battles that we have up and down the circuit right now. As the racing has cooled off a little bit, I mean, we've still got drivers extremely close right now, but I think these drivers are getting to the point in the race. We're 10 minutes into this 8-hour affair here. I think these drivers might try and just play it safe for now, just kind of mull away the laps and just keep their cars sturdy, safe, and clean by the time we approach the finish, and then they'll probably try and go for an all-out assault towards the end of this race.
yeah, right now it's just survival, isn't it? 8 hours is a little bit of a, yeah, 8 hours is a little bit of a halfway between like a proper long endurance race and a bit of a spin, like Watkins Glen 6 hours. I think in terms of the iRacing special events, feels a bit like a sprint. Like you don't have a whole lot of time. You have to be on it right from the start. 8 hours affords you a bit more time. You sort of get into sort of this rhythm at Le Mans because of just the nature of the circuit, the long straights. It's not an especially intense circuit to drive. So you do just make laps after lap after laps and get into a very much an endurance mindset. Here comes Texas Sim Racing Red. They're barely ahead of Muradnus Oceana Coffee, and it looks like Oceana Coffee are going to lose another position to Hyperion Racing 2. Now, Hyperion Racing 2 had a poor start. They started up in 3rd place, actually. They're even up in 2nd place for a brief while, but they have had an issue. Alex Caruso in that car, and they have now dropped back down. Well, they're back up now to 11th position, but still far away from where they want to be.
I may have to be corrected here, but I think the driver there in the number 11 position, the Hyperion Racing team, I believe they might have had a slowdown on the first lap. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we saw a slowdown there with one of the drivers in the GT3 class, and I think that might have been them, and I think that could be the reason why they dropped down, because a slowdown really at any part of the track, especially going onto the Mulsanne straightaway, is really just, it hurts your race so badly, but especially to have one on lap 1 at the very start of this race, that is brutal. So I think that could be the reason why they're farther down the field.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. It loses you so many places in the early stages, so yeah, it is tough. Eric Racing, just saying in chat how they're racing in the car number 5, and yeah, that is who we're watching at the moment. Geeks Energy has with Fiercely Forward, 2 teams which I think have only recently started collaborating. I know a little bit about both teams, Geeks Energy in particular. And yeah, they're really really competitive team and have improved a lot over the past year or so. Fiercely Forward, I think, a bit more established for multiple years in sim racing, and it's cool to see those 2 collaborate. However, I think, guys, you do need to think of a long-term name. Geeks Energy, Fiercely Forward, GT. It's too long, guys. Let's slice off a couple of words there. Maybe Geeks Forward or something, or Energy Fiercely, something like that to shorten.
So is this broadcast now turned into like an advertising course in a college? This is basically what it's turned into. I feel like you read my mind there, Sam. I think you read my mind there, Sam. I was looking on the left-hand side of the screen with the SDK graphics, and I just saw that long name, and I was thinking, that might be the longest name that we have there between both GT3 and GTP, the Geeks Energy X Fiercely Forward Black and Geeks Energy X Fiercely Forward GT cars might be the longest name that we have in the field, but it's always nice to have some team names here.
I'm giving free consulting advice out to these guys. They should be paying me for this. I'm really helping out. So I'm being generous by lecturing people over stuff I don't know anything about.
I think what they might need to do instead of contributing to your multi-million-dollar fortune there, Sam, I think they might need to do is actually donate to Make-A-Wish. I believe the donation link is somewhere in the YouTube chat right now, so I think that might be the donation that they have to do here. If they want to take your name, you may as well copyright during this broadcast. We have enough time to do it. You could probably go to some kind of copyright office and put in the put in the pad for that name there.
Yeah, my consulting fee, yeah, send it to send it to this stream instead. I think that's a fair thing to do. Hydro Race, Geodesic Racing, now up ahead of BMW Propaganda. Nice work, up to 6th place. I'm not sure what's going on with Owen Carroll at the moment. I was expecting a little bit more from him so far. I think he's going to get faster as the race goes on, but I mean, just for a reference, he is 10k. Right now, 2nd place is Lyndon Lee with 6.8k. So, like, if it was done by iRacing, you would expect Owen to be leading right now. But that's not quite the case. We'll see if he comes back into it. I think they might still be the favourites for this one. Really good battle between Bernstorff Banditti and Satellite Racing for Wishes. These 2 teams have been pretty much stuck with one another from the start, and it is Bandittini who are up ahead. and in third position. I think it's been changing back and forth a fair few times.
Some dicing throughout this race very early on, which is a little bit surprising. I mean, these tires on these cars last a very long time, but I'm sure they're... Oh boy, that was a nice save there from that Mercedes there as they went through the Porsche curves there. That I believe that was actually, that is the missed Apex Predators team that had a massive snap there going through the first Porsche curve there. My untimely constipation there, as they nearly had a massive accident there coming through the Porsche curves. But as I was about to say, the tire conservation might not play a big role in this race. I think these drivers are just going to try and go all out and try and claw for every position at the very early stage of this race. There's only a few times where you can gain so much position and have these cars be so close. It's here at the start and right towards the restarts on the full course cautions that we'll have here. But meanwhile, we're following Tyson here as he threads the needle there side by side with the ETT car there as they go into turn 1 position and moves into the top 5 in the GT3 race. So Tyson right now is putting in a clinic right now in that GT3 car.
Yeah, this is incredible from where they came from to BSA as high as they are now. And yeah, we'll start to pull away, you would think. Also, good race for Ferrari so far. And yeah, just a point as well on your thing about tyre management. It doesn't really matter too much because they can change tyres every stint. Because these cars, with the GTPs and the GTDs, take tyres at the same time as fuel. By the time that you put all the fuel in, you may as well just take tyres as well, because the fuel's going to take longer than 26 seconds, and so you may as well take tyres simultaneously. So yeah, they can push as hard as they want. Any conservation is not needed.
Yeah, I can imagine that's definitely going to be the case. I mean, we have so many things to keep an eye on in the next few hours. We've got pit stops to deal with. As you said at the very start of this broadcast, we've got 2 full course cautions. You said we Americans call it full course yellows. We don't pronounce it like yellow, we pronounce it full course yellow. So we've got 2 full course yellows here in the not too distant future. So I believe it's 1 at the first half of the race and then 1 in the second half of this race. So that will be something that we have to keep our eye on. And maybe we'll see if they're the yellows placed at a bad time for some of these drivers that might mess around with some strategies. We'll just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we've got some action here with the York Sports Racing drivers. Went for a move there, going into the moles, into the first chicane there, going down the back straightaway. So right now it's smoothed out so far. No real incidents so far, besides a few being and banging here and there, and a big snap there for the driver coming through Mulsanne straight, going through not the Mulsanne straightaway, the Porsche curves there. I believe that was missed Apex Predators that had that massive snap a few moments ago. So right now, fairly smooth, all things considered, and right now we're about 18, nearly coming up on 20 minutes into this race, so the time has flown by, but we still have plenty to play for here.
Yeah, a lot to play for at the moment. Yeah, long way to go in this race, and yeah, it is still 4 seconds clear for effect simulations. But did lose about 1.5 seconds on that last lap, and of course now the class interactions are beginning. I'm not sure how much sort of multi-class racing you've done in the past, but is this something that you look forward to, this class interaction, the opportunity, or do you think of it as an opportunity to make a mistake perhaps when you're interacting with slower classes?
Ooh, that is a very good question. I haven't done a whole lot of multi-class racing besides some really stupid multi-class racing, like a hosted session back in the COVID days back in 2020, where someone would go on like some kind of NASCAR oval and put like the old pro trucks, the old off-road trucks, some rallycross cars, and just have a whole concoction of weird race cars to race together. So I don't have a whole lot of experience racing these specific multi-class cars, but I have done a lot of officiating for a big multi-class racing series that is broadcasted on Apex Racing TV, the Rikmatech World Challenge. And we've seen plenty of action there, comers and goers, and it's something that we have to keep our eyes on. But track position is so important, especially when it comes time to lapping cars, as we're seeing there. The car is getting held up quite badly by that BMW coming down through the final chicanes there. He had got slowed up massively there, so now he is at risk of losing a position to the team currently running in P3, who I'm scared to say the team name of and risk of butchering the pronunciation. So right now the number 887 there is closing up on the racing car right ahead of him. Right now that gap is about 0.4 of a second there. It's cooled off a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to heat up very soon here as we have even more GT action. Meanwhile, there's some I believe there might have been some contact there as the racing cars went through the lap traffic there. I think there might have been some contact with the GT3s, but right now with the lap cars that these drivers are having to negotiate with, I think this battle is definitely going to flare up. It's pretty close right now. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Congratulations, we have just passed our second goal of $12,000. Amazing work, everyone. I'm sure many of you who are listening along, watching along, have contributed yourself. Amazing stuff. This is a fantastic event that has been put on, and $12,000 from so many different donors as well. It's so widespread. Is fantastic. So well done, everyone. And well, let's see how far we can get. Maybe I don't know what the new goal will be set, but the donations are still open. You can donate using the links in the description below. Now, I think we might change splits. We have 3 splits going on. This is the top split. And we spent a while on this, including qualifying. Ron, shall we transfer over to split 2?
I think we might do. I think I want to see some more team names. I want to see some goofier team names. I think that might be our ticket to get some more laughs out of this broadcast. I think,
awesome.
yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. I think we'll switch to a different split. So we'll just have to sit back, relax, have a chill out barbecue here as we switch to, I believe, split 2.
Yes, let's transfer. We'll be back in a few moments' time, and yeah, we will have a new crop of 50 cars on track.
On my hard days, I usually don't think about it. I just try to get to the next day and hope that the next day will be better.
My legs don't work like other people's, so I have to be in a wheelchair.
I take the needed medicine for everything that's going on in my body.
My wish is to redesign my bedroom.
My wish is to remodel my backyard. It's like that warm feeling, almost like, you know, something really good is gonna happen.
Hello? Ghostbusters?
Leeds Central Library is under attack. We need the Ghostbusters.
We've got one!
How you doing, George? Good to see you. We've got you your own proton pack.
Thank you! This is insane! Best day of my life by a mile!
What is happening? Senior Ghostbusting Cadet George.
Yes!
We've had a message from the mayor. He needs you down there right now. Are you able to come down and save the city for us?
Yep.
We'll get you there as soon as, buddy.
I'm definitely picking up something here, George. PKA valences are off the chart. It's burying the needle.
George was born with a complex congenital heart defect. His heart can never be repaired.
You know, I've heard stories about this place. This place used to belong to a very wealthy family, and apparently the maid, she still haunts this place. So we need to be careful.
So far it's been 3 open heart surgeries by the age of 6. His first open heart surgery was when he was only 36 hours old. And each time it's to try and improve the function of the half of the heart that works and to raise his oxygen levels. He's doing really, really well at the moment, but there will be more surgical interventions and potentially we're looking at a transplant further down the road with him.
Okay, there's signs up there, right next to that picture up there.
He's a lovely, kind, friendly guy, and when you speak to him about his sort of hopes and ambitions, a lot of it is helping other people. It does affect him. Aspects of life he finds harder than other kids his age. He's a lovely personality, and he'd much rather see the fun side of things than the serious side.
Some hand marks right there.
Some hand marks.
Yeah,
Human or spiritual?
spiritual.
Spiritual, okay, well,
That's why I had to put the ghost goggles down.
okay, let's go. Hey, good job, George.
Yeah. We've got one!
Yeah. Get it in there, George. Put him in there.
George has been absolutely amazing. He's saved Leeds. We didn't want Marshmallow Man to come and take town hall down, and George has nipped it in bud.
George as a Ghostbuster is fantastic. You know, he may have troubles with his heart, but he's definitely strong of heart. For anyone who's thinking about wanting to get involved with Make-A-Wish, make wishes happen for other kids, I 100% would implore you to do that because it's something that, you know, I'll personally remember for the rest of my life.
Thank you to the East Midlands Ghostbusters, all the police officers that helped, I don't know, just everybody that helped make my wish come true.
Welcome back to Drive for Wishes. This is, well, we're now half an hour into this 8-hour-long event, and you may see everything's changed. Well, we have a new set of drivers. This is split 2 we are now watching, and we have got Fiercely Forward leading the way in this second split ahead of DBRPM1, GMB Racing, sorry, in third position. And in GTDs, we've got Get Pole Racing 1 ahead of a Pit Lane Sim Racing and simracing.be as well. Once again, I am Sam, and I once again have alongside me Ron. Yeah, new race taking part now.
Oh, you said that everything changed, so I think we should have different names now. So I think your name is now going to be Billy, and my name's going to be Jose. So,
I like
welcome
this.
welcome to Split 2 here with the Drive for Wishes here in 2023, raising money for Make-A-Wish International. And I just took a look. The new goal for the organizers is now 15,000, and we're now north of 13,000. So the
Wow.
goals have been getting smashed here. We smashed the goal that we had of $10,000 before we even took the green flag here. So we've been able to raise a lot of money. It's nice to see the sim racing community uniting and raising money for a great cause. So we might be able to break that $15,000 goal by the time we switch to Split 3 probably here in about another half hour. So it's great to see more money getting raised here.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. I saw a couple of days ago that we were on track to beating it. That's a nice battle between Team Red X 517 versus Honey Competition Green. Oh, bit of a lock up there. You can see the smoke come up. And that was a move past there for Team Red X. In fact, I think they're just defending because on that last lap, Honey Competition being well faster. But yeah, a couple of days ago, I saw the title, and we were on course for beating it. I think it was about 7K at that point. I thought, okay, yeah, we should just about make it. I didn't expect the explosion of prize of money that has come in over the last few days. We've pretty much doubled it in the last few days alone. And there's still the potential for us to increase it by the end of today as well. So amazing stuff, and thank you to everyone who has contributed.
It's a great organization. It's a well-known organization worldwide, and the ads that we were playing as we switched the splits, I really enjoyed the ad that we played of the young boy getting to hang out with the Ghostbusters in the UK and saving leads from the other ghosts. So that was a very heartwarming tale, and I'm sure we'll share many of the sorts throughout this broadcast. So if you'd like to stay tuned here on Make-A-Wish International, stay tuned for the first half of this broadcast, and then around in a couple hours' time, in about I think it's coming up on about, I'm not sure, I'm great with math as you can tell. I think we're coming up on, I think it'd be about 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what time it would be in other parts of the world, but in a few hours' time we'll be switching over to part 2 of this broadcast. At least on YouTube, we'll be switching over to part 2. So the viewers currently in the YouTube chat right now, we've got about 100 people tuning in here on Make-A-Wish International's YouTube channel. So we've had a lot of viewers in the chat talking to us, and just keep an eye on that. We'll have to switch to part 2 of this broadcast here in a few hours' time. And for the viewers currently on Twitch right now, which we do know your Twitch viewers out there, you'll just have to stay tuned. The live stream will go dark for a little bit, then we'll rejoin you with part 2 to catch this race all the way to the checkered flag.
Yes, yeah, we'll be covering all the action to the end. Here's Piercy Forward leading the way, 2.5 seconds clear of the rest. Now these guys started down in 13th place, although I might be wrong on that one. I think I might be wrong. I might have to check back the standings. I'm not sure if those positions games. No, they did start from pole position. They did start from pole position. They first forward. So yeah, impressive performance from them so far to keep that lead. But you can see just in the background, Jeremy Teboiva is chasing them down 2 seconds behind. Jeremy, a driver who I'm familiar with a bit. He has improved a lot over the last year or so. He's been one of the most competitive amateur drivers in one of our leagues. That was actually a GT3 competition. I think he's also raced quite a bit in Porsche Cup, so these GTP cars are perhaps a little bit out of his comfort zone, but with the popularity that they've enjoyed over the last 6 months, he's not the only one to have converted from GT racing into prototypes.
Yeah, there's a good discussion here as we're following the GTP action here. Of course, you've got the GTP cars that have come into the iRacing service over the past few months. I've personally bought and have driven a Cadillac quite extensively on iRacing, so I want to ask you, Sam, have you bought any of the GTP cars, and which one has tickled your fancy the most so far?
Well, I think the BMW was the first one that was released, so I bought that one. And I haven't really raced the cars that much myself, so I haven't bought any of the others so far. But I think if I was, I sort of feel sorry for the Acura, because I think a lot of people don't like the Acura. And of course, it's the one which isn't a proper sort of manufacturer as well. We've got BMW, we've got Caddy, we've got Porsche. And the Acura generally is a little bit of a slower car. So I like to drive the slower cars personally, so I can blame my weak performances on the car and say, well, if I was in one of those Caddies, I'd be flying along. But it is at the moment BMW and Caddy. And I think around this circuit, the slight edge being given to the Caddy due to its high top speed, as there's been a slight incident for one of the Caddies, and that is Miguel Astazaran for VGTR Esports, and I think he's lost one place there to Team Skitbill. That's.
And we're taking a look at the replay here going into Mulsanne. I think there might have been a little bit of contact here. Ooh, no, just overshot it quite badly. These cars are very squirmy on the brakes with the regenerative system with the hybrid systems in these power units. So it's very tricky to get these cars woed down, especially after a very long straightaway like that. So a little mistake there that cost him not too much, just a little bit of gravel on his tires and probably a bit of damage to his ego more than anything else right now. So right now he's regaining it right now and is probably going to try and size up a move here to regain that P12 position here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, he had a tricky lap last time around as well. He lost 5 seconds that last round, so he seems to be a little bit error prone at the moment. Does Miguel? He is 1.3k iRacing, which is just above the average iRacing on iRacing. He's got Damien McMullen. Great to see Damien McMullen. Man, these drivers. As into the pits comes Team Skitbill. But Damien McMullen, driver who I'm familiar with in MX-5 cars, which are not pretty much the other side of the spectrum to these cars. So that is fantastic. That's that Damien is taking part. Irish driver, if I recall correctly. And he's running in 13th place at the moment.
So I think I want to touch on this a little bit before we had the mistake there with the other Porsche that we're following now, the number 30 there going into Mulsanne. This is a point that I wanted to mention. You said that you prefer driving the slower cars because you like to blame it on the car rather than yourself whenever you get a poor result. So I kind of have a little story to share about that. So the racing that I do, well, I say do, I did. I got out of racing earlier this year because of a back injury I sustained in a go-kart race. So I used to do go-kart stuff with the Sports Car Club of America here on the state side of things. Ran autocross for many, many years. Started back in 2013 and ran all the way up till this year. And towards the end, I was driving this 2002 Tony Kart, which for race cars of any kind, especially go-karts, a 2002 chassis is ancient. And I always like to give the same excuse whenever I was struggling on any given day at the racetrack. I used to say, well, the reason why I'm driving slow is because I'm the only person racing here with a kart that's actually older than themselves. So that was always a good excuse there for me to excuse my poor driving at times. So I can definitely relate with you there, Sam, on your preference with the Acuras and the BMWs. I believe we might have possibly lost Sam. Sam, are you there? Sam, do you got a copy?
Oh, apologies, I missed myself. I was eating food and I didn't want people to hear.
I was about to say mission control to Sam. I was about to start giving radio calls. I was like, oh no, I'll have to do this endurance race broadcast all on my own. My poor vocal cords.
We're an hour and 15 into the broadcast and it's starting to fall apart. We knew this was going to happen. I'm glad that we got this far. Fiercely forward into the pits. Their gap had been diminished significantly when we tuned in, at least. A few minutes ago, we've been watching this for about 10 minutes. The gap was at 3 seconds. It was down to about half a second going into the pit. So Jamie De Boiver with a good chance. It does certainly seem like this 41 minutes is as far as these LMDHs can go, or GTPs can go. And yeah, no one's able to stretch it that extra lap. However, even if you do pit on the same lap, the fuel takes a while in this car. If you can save fuel, you could be saving potentially 5 seconds in the pit stop compared to your rival. So even if you don't make the extra lap, just saving some fuel can be a big advantage by being in the slipstream, as we see VGTR Esports staying ahead of PN forever.
Lift and coast is going to be a driver's best friend when trying to stretch out the fuel in this race. That's a very good point that he brought up there, Sam, and I think it'll play a big role in how things shuffle out with how reliant the drivers are going to be on pit stops and pit strategy, especially for track position battles. That will be something that those drivers have to pay a mighty amount of attention to. The GTPs are in and start to exit now. Fiercely Forward is going to exit with the lead again. Stowe, I think we'll see some, you can see the drivers in the GTP category starting to flood out of the pits right now. You can see them driving out right now. So right now, that's going to be a little bit of a shuffle. I think we have some action there. I believe, yeah, some slight action there. You can see the Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick team currently dropping down to P7, which we mentioned that as soon as we rejoined, we joined this Split 2 session here. We mentioned at the start of the broadcast how one of the team names in the Split 1 sound like something you'd see in a Top Gun movie, and of course we've got Buzz the Tower and Maverick currently running in P7 in the GTP category. So I'm not going to call myself Nostradamus, but I kind of called that there with the Top Gun reference before we even saw that team name in the other split.
Buzz the Tower, is that a Top Gun thing as well, or is it just the Maverick bit?
It's
Is Buzz the Tower where they drive really close to the... Okay, cool.
I believe the correct technical term would be flying close to the tower. That'd be a little bit slower if they drove past the other tower, but that's buzzing the tower there. It's I've seen many flight simulator videos from certain YouTubers there just goofing off in Flight Simulator, and as someone who's done some Flight Simulator stuff myself, just goofing around many moons ago, I can assure you that it's always fun rattling the cage of the people on the tower and just flying by them at God knows how fast. So it's that's definitely a Top Gun reference there.
Fiercely Forward with a 7-second lead after that pit stop, so they have a nice cushion now to DB RPM 1. This is the closest battle. No battles currently going on in GTD. That is oh dear, that is a spin for VGTR Esports. I think they've just changed drivers as well. Ethan Reed now in that car, and it wasn't exactly a good end to their first stint either. It's not a good start to their second stint.
Yeah, that's going to be damaging the tires and damaging the ego there, but he just has to wipe off the dust and keep things rolling with the hard nature of these endurance racing tires. That's not going to play the biggest role in the world if there was if we're running Formula cars here and he had a spin like that. He definitely would have been pulling into the pits at the end of this lap to try and put on a better set of tires, but that did cost him a little bit of time now. As you can see, the ISMC red team right behind him, he is closed up a little bit. The gap is now less than a half a second separating those drivers. So we've got a nice little pack of Porsches right now battling. You can see the weaving going down the other straightaway, trying to clean off the tires a little bit from the dust they collected in that spin, and also possibly trying to break the slipstream a little bit as they go down this short little straightaway between the two chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight.
Our race leaders in GTP have just had a setback. They've just lost 4 seconds in Sector 6. So a mistake for Fiercely Forward, who had been able to open up the lead to 7 seconds. Now the top 3 in GTP are separated by just 3 seconds. That's awesome. So this one is well and truly alive once again. In fact, there might be a change for second position because DBRPM Racing have gone slowly. This is a change of driver. It's now Dirk Bouts in that car, and he is lost out to Gregory Franks, a driver who I'm familiar with from Sim Racers World. That was years ago in the GT3 Championship. Great to see these names back again. I think that was 2019. And he's now up into second place. Good work for the GMB Racing driver. Have we shown Potato Nation so far? Apologies, I missed that. I'm seeing the Twitch chat with the thoughts of what potato you would have on a car. I think maybe Dauphinoise might be quite a nice texture, I think, on the car. But maybe just mashed. I think if you can get a good mashed effect on that, I think that would probably be best.
I mean, I took culinary arts. What in the world did you just say? What kind of potato dish was that? Like the last big word I learned like that was mayonnaise. So I'm gonna have to look that up. How do you spell it real quick?
Please, everyone in chat, back me up. Everyone knows what Dauphinoise is. Our broadcaster, Jonathan, do you know what Dauphinoise is? So
See, there you go.
It's sliced potato with cream, basically.
Sliced potato with cream. That's
It honestly is one of my least favourite types of potato. Sorry, what did you say, man?
So it's sliced potatoes with cream. That's fancy. I mean, it has a fancy name. That's.
I think it's
It
just
seems like it
French.
was like a. It had to have been just like that's like the French just translation of potatoes with cream, but it went through. Like it went through like 50 different layers of Google Translate or something strange like that. I've never in my life I mean, I'm out of school now. I don't have to like learn new vocabulary words, but that threw me for a loop. The closest like foreign cuisine to my house right now on the outskirts of Philadelphia is a Taco Bell. So right now, I'm not sure where I would be able to find that right now.
I'm surprised.
Actually, I say that I don't think I could get it delivered to my house.
I'm surprised you don't have. I don't know what your cuisine is like, to be fair, but you have those big buffet things. I thought there'd be like a big tub of dauphinoise, which you can get with your meats and whatever, and your veg, and then have a nice thing of dauphinoise as well. I thought you could pop in a big old spoon in there and shovel some onto your plate, but no. My image of the United States of America has fundamentally changed, and I think the mention of dauphinoise will be pretty much as close as we get to France in this French track broadcast.
Let me look up real quick, see where the closest French cuisine is to me. The closest, actually I say that, the closest foreign cuisine to me is an Irish bar, probably about a few blocks away. But that's basically it. So let me look up French cuisine here, see what the closest is to my house right now. I'll get back to you here, Sam.
Okay, that's good. Well, whilst that's going on, we're watching VGTR Esports after their spin. A few moments ago, they have got Martin Cook for ISMC Red sat behind them, 0.4 of a second behind.
Ooh, I have an update to the French culinary situation here, so brace yourselves, everyone. This is a doozy. So it's a place called La Provenance, I believe it is. It is at I'm not going to dox myself because this is quite a long ways away from me, about 10 miles to be precise. It's at 27 West Butler Pike in Ambler, Pennsylvania. Oh, as we're seeing some action here, as the driver starts to dice here, the VGTR is a little bit losing out there on the position there to the ISMC Red team. Actually, I saw some support there in the YouTube chat for them, so see them moving up some places right now. But getting back to the French culinary discussion here, I was thrown off immediately from the fact that it's not only a half an hour drive from where I am right now. It is also classed on Google as costing anywhere from $50 to $100. I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm a broke 18-year-old. I barely have enough money to afford Greek yogurt, so I don't think I'd be able to afford that. So I don't know, maybe if I have enough time after this broadcast, I'll take a half an hour trip to try whatever in the world. I can't even remember the name at this point, to give that a whirl after this broadcast.
Thanks to the Twitch chat for enlightening us, mentioning stuff about au gratin. I'm not sure what's, but I think that may be a better translation. I think trying to help us out. But yeah, thank you for that on chats. And yeah, and South Side Slider. Sam can't share his love of foods here. I can, because I have. So there's not much people can do. Yeah. I've just been told I can be muted, so yes, need to worry about that one. Oh, it is the move there for Team Red X on Helios Community Racing 2, and and good speed at the moment for Eagle Speed Academy Esports, and that was again very close. That is Loy Lamal battling Jesper Lindman. And there could still be another move coming up afterwards. They are almost dead level, 0.02 of a second separating these cars. And in fact now, it is the Team Red X 517 who moves marginally ahead and will have the move complete before the Mulsanne corner. So I think that is a proper move there. They were half a second fast on that last lap, so they have been catching recently of Team Red X, and they have now been able to get past.
Ooh, this is very close here between the Cadillac and the BMW. They're going side by side on the short straight line blast before they go into Indianapolis here, and it's the Fastline Motorsports BMW. They're pulling ahead there, but just barely over the Buzz Tower Racing Maverick. Beautiful name. Currently running in P8 right now. They're going side by side. We saw I was looking at the left-hand side of the screen. I saw the gap was less than a tenth, so that was a nice battle to follow there right towards the end of it. Meanwhile, while we were following the battles in GTP, there's a fight. There's actually some pit stops in the GT3 category. You can see these drivers are coming out of the pits right now. It's currently Get Pole Racing 1 that's currently at the lead of that. I believe they did not come into the pits right now, so they have a minute gap over the other team currently running in P2. Right now, it's a fairly close fight there, about 4 seconds separating P2 and P3. We'll just have to see what Get Pole Racing 1 does with their pit stops. They might... We'll just have to wait and see what their pit stop looks like, what kind of fuel they take, how long their pit stop is, and we'll just have to see where they come out on track. But right now, it looks like a nice battle in GT3 is brewing, but I think our attention should be on GTP because we have some close fights there.
Yeah, and Get Pole were only a second clear before that pit stop, so that's really impressive that Get Pole had the lead and were able to go an extra lap. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they did lose the lead temporarily, but going that extra lap could well help them when it comes to pit stops. So it might mean that they only have to make 8 pit stops compared to 9 pit stops potentially, which would make a big difference. There's a long pit lane here at Le Mans, and yeah, losing half a minute having to go through it will certainly set you back in the race. However, as you were saying, this is pretty intense in GTP. Dirk Bout's not having a good time, but on that last lap, he was nearly 3 seconds slower than the cars ahead. He was nearly 3 seconds slower than really slow motion racing just behind him. And he is starting to fall back. I think it was Jeremy De Boyver in that car before, and struggling to get up to speed. It is tricky when you get into a car mid-race to find that confidence that you've been building for several days of practice leading into it. Once you get into the real thing, it feels very, very different. And I feel like this is only a matter of time till this move is made.
All right, so well, we've got this action brewing here in the GTP category. My apologies. We might see a possible move here coming into Mulsanne. Ooh, sneaking a wheel down the inside there. That's going to be some tense stuff. There's a go on the brakes into Mulsanne, and they get the move done for the final podium spot. Really slow racing. Definitely not really slow right now. They move into P3 right now, the last of the podium positions, but that battle is definitely going to keep heating up here in the not-too-distant future. Right now, it's DB RPM 1 and 2 currently running 4th and 5th, so they're running line astern right now, but I'm sure the number 1 team is definitely going to try and move back into the podium places. We'll just have to see what happens there, but we have the GT3 leader in now. Get Pole Racing 1 did an extra 2 laps, I believe, on their fuel and tires, so we'll see how they exit here. Had a massive gap there. It was only 1 second there when the round of pit stops started in the GT3 category, so we'll see how they exit here soon. But I just want to go back to the potato discussion and the French cuisine discussion, because I had the awful idea. I had the awful idea of going into the Google reviews of the place, and so this person, who I will not read out their name is Alex. They left a 1-star review 3 months ago of this restaurant, and it's a scathing editorial. It's about 3 paragraphs long, and they ended with saying stick to diners is incredibly inappropriate to someone who spent $500 at your restaurant, yet it received worse service than at a Waffle House. So they ended the review with that, and I'm just going to read out the first few words of the response from the owner that they left on that Google review. The audacity you have to leave a review and lie about half the things on it speaks volumes about what type of people you are. We have beef forming with the French cuisine right outside of Philadelphia, and that is a sentence that's never been said before in the history of endurance racing broadcasts.
Wow. Wow. French food for you, right?
We've got beef, my God.
Oh
Good
man.
Lord.
Get Pole Racing 1. It's pretty much the exact same order in the at the top of the GT3s as it was before. Still 1 second for all that. And well, it was 1 second longer in the pit stop for Get Pole Racing, and they can go an extra lap. So good news for them. but they're in a very nice position now, driving their Ferrari 296. Yes, good work for them.
I need to shut my phone off during these broadcasts. I can't
this
get over
is
that
exactly
review.
what we need. We're
I've
only
just
an hour
been
into the
quietly
broadcast.
laughing here for the past like minute. Oh my god.
Have you had
This
any
is
bad
so
experiences
scuffed
in
already.
French restaurants? Let us know.
Yeah, leave any sort of comments that you've had about any French cuisine or just cuisine period in the YouTube or Twitch chat. We'll be monitoring it and we'll be reading out your experiences because this is a beautiful discussion that we need to have here on Make-A-Wish International.
There has been a question in the YouTube chat. Do you have live timing for top splits? Unfortunately, we do not. We have live timing for whatever split we're watching. We'll occasionally post the link in the chats, and you can follow whatever stream we're watching. But unfortunately, we don't have links for each of the different streams. It's basically whoever we're seeing on screen. So yeah, that is the info for that. So yeah, that live time will be useful 1/3 of the time, but not all the time, as we're nearly at the hour mark, and of course everyone has pits, so these positions that you're seeing are quite representative. In fact, there might be a change for the GTD lead, because Get Pole Racing are only 0.4 of a second clear now. The BMW behind is charging along. Now, remember, they've only just come into the pits, have Get Pole Racing #1, and they're still sort of warming up those tyres. I think that might be a new driver as well, Kevin Helm, in that car. And, well, this gap is now down to 0.2 of a second. There could be a move on here into Indianapolis. This is really the last place there you can easily go for a move on this lap. The rest of it has a lot of corners, and he wasn't quite close enough, didn't have the momentum to pull alongside. But good news for these guys is that they're well clear of the rest. SimRacing.be by ROI Management were close before the pit stops, but they're now just 14 seconds away.
So right now, there's a great battle that we have to keep our eye on, but right now you can see the BMW farther behind, the BMW GTP car that might act as a little bit of a pick in this battle. It might bring these two closer together. It depends on when this BMW catches up to these cars. They'll catch up to them, I believe, in the Porsche curves. So we'll see the BMW get out of the way here real quick. The BMW GT3 car, that is, get out of the way there. That cost them a little bit of time. Meanwhile, the Ferrari there has to run a little bit wide, but I think that might have benefited the Ferrari a little bit there. I say that he ran pretty wide there coming through the Porsche curves, so I think he lost a little bit of time there. The gap is now over 0.7 of a second with this battle that we have right now with the GT3 front runners. I think that lap traffic played a little bit of a role there, but I think right now they still stayed line of stern. Could have been some drama there, could have been some contact possibly, but they kept it clean. The BMW was mindful of their competitors and managed to keep that battle going nice and smooth. Meanwhile, farther behind in the GTP fight, we've got some action here with the Eagle Speed Racing Academy Esports G team here, currently running in the 8th position. They're being tailed a little bit by Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick team, two beautiful all-American, God bless American names, currently running in 8th and 9th in the GTP category, separated by a little over about 1.5 seconds right now, separating those drivers. I think with how much the Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick team has dropped back, he might have had slowdown there, or could just be saving some energy here and possibly could be eyeing up an assault here on the Eagle Speed Racing Academy driver, currently running in P8. So that'll be something that we have to keep our eyes on and see how this battle transpires.
Yeah, he did lose 3 seconds in Sector 5 on that last lap. I think that's before Indianapolis. That might be Mulsanne Corner up to Indianapolis. I think might be Sector 5. So yeah, he lost quite a bit of time. So I think the slowdown is a possibility. Well, we're over an hour into the race now. Should we have a look at what's going on in Split 3, do you reckon, Ron?
Yeah, I think we could definitely do that, and we'll switch through Split 3 and then make sense of the YouTube and Twitch chat. I see some culinary discussion there, so we'll make sense of that. We'll switch to Split 3, and this broadcast is already very scuffed. We've been talking about French cuisine now for the past, like, 25 minutes. Oh, there's a big moment there for the Porsche there, the number 80. has a massive moment there.
Oh no!
Oh
No!
boy, oh boy, that was incredibly close there. Nearly contact with the McLaren, and now we've got another Porsche coming up there. The number 80 ISMC red driver had a massive slide there coming through that corner. Nearly made contact with the wall. Nearly made contact with a McLaren. That was a massive moment. So I think we might need to keep our attention on this a little bit just to see what happens here. But after this battle starts to cool off, I think we'll have to switch over to split 3 and see what's going on there.
Yes, that was some amazing avoidance from the Helios Community Racing car in the McLaren to avoid that one, so good work from them. But yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll leave these guys to it, see how they get on, and well, we'll go for a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be watching Split 3 for the first time in this race. Be back in a moment.
On my hard days, I usually don't think about it. I just try to get to the next day and hope that the next day will be better.
My legs don't work like other people's, so I have to be in a wheelchair.
I take the needed medicine for everything that's going on in my body.
My wish is to redesign my bedroom.
My wish is to remodel my backyard. It's like that warm feeling, almost like, you know, something really good is gonna happen.
welcome back to Drive for Wishes. We have now transferred over to third split. And there is the order for you. This is, we've already covered the first 2 splits, and yeah, this is everyone going on. And hopefully, you are, if you're tuned in, you are yeah, involved in this one, and yeah, we're giving you a little bit of love on the stream. Once again, I am still Sam, and we still have Ron next to me. However, I think Ron, did you change your name to? It was like Pedro or something. I think that you changed your name to
Jose. You're
Jose,
Billy, I'm Jose. So those were our names on Split 2. Now we gotta come up with new names, and a beautiful suggestion from our producer Jonathan. We should have French names after the French culinary discussion that we had there while we were covering Split 2. So I think we might need to think of some there. What do you think, Sam? What do you think your French name is going to be for this third split?
Well, seeing that I'm the British person here, I'll go for Charles. Seeing that our monarch has that name, and obviously Charles Leclerc, who isn't French, I should say. He is Monegasque, but I think there are lots of French people. Charles Peak, for example. So yeah, I'll be Charles.
Ooh, you're really putting me on the spot here. I gotta think of a I gotta think of a name here. Why am I drawing a blank on French names?
Kings? I think there were a lot of Louis. There you go, like Louis the 18th and that. So yeah, there you go. Louis and Charles will be covering this next section of the race.
Beautiful. Our producer Jonathan just suggested we go through the other names of French F1 racers.
I mean,
that might be my project. Go into the Wikipedia articles and find French Formula 1 drivers and just go through Jean. We could go through Jean Lacy, Rene Arnoux. Yeah, let me go through 74 Formula 1 drivers have raced from France. Of course, Alain Prost, probably the other most successful of them all. Rene Arnoux, Jacques Lafitte, Didier Pironi, Patrick Tambay. We've got a whole list. I don't think I'll go through all of them, because I think if I went through every single French F1 driver there's ever been, I think our viewers on Make-A-Wish International's YouTube channel would probably have. So I'll keep my mouth shut, and we'll go by the names Louis and Charles for the next half hour or so.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. There is a tight battle for the LMDH lead. We've tuned in on this on a good point, because just a moment ago when we started tuning in on this, it was 3 seconds between those 2 cars, but I think High Velocity Racing Team got a bit held up in the Porsche curves. And they are being caught. They lost 2 seconds on that last tour of the track. They've lost 4/10 in the first sector on this lap. And this was very alike. High Velocity Racing Team 480 versus Air Tasker, another strong name. Tori Moscovitile. And yeah, he is representing the great nation of Australia on for this race. Haven't seen too many Australians and New Zealanders, so yeah, it's good to see him out there. And yeah, 0.2 of a second. The gap is currently, because he's going to have to stay defensive, but well, ends up opening the line, and it turns out that he was fine anyway through the second Mulsanne. A lot of traffic for these guys to deal with. Of course, 1 pit stop already completed for these drivers, and they'll be coming up for their second pit stop in about 10 minutes time or so.
So we're pretty tight right now with the leaders in GTP. We're also we're closing in. We're very tight to the next goal for the charity, raising money for Make-A-Wish. Right now, the goal was 10,000. We broke that well before we even got the green flag here about an hour ago. We already broke the next goal that we had of 12,000. And right now, we have another goal of 15,000. We've currently raised, I believe, $14,500. So it's great to see the sim racing community joining together, raising money for a good cause. And right now, we're closing in on another goal, and we're barely into this race. I mean, I say that we're an hour and 12 minutes into this race right now, about an hour and a half into this broadcast, but we've still raised a lot of money, and we still have a long way to go. So it's great to see a lot of money being raised for a very good cause here.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for doing your work to contribute, and then also to spread the word as well for many others. Podcast Motorsports mentioning that they've raised $155 Big thanks to them and also Danny Brewer at Texas Speed. $430 as well. Amazing stuff, guys. Really is very impressive what everyone has done. As well, this is the lead for the GTPs. In the GT3s, it's a bit more comfortable. It's another Get Pole Racing car out in the lead. We had the #1 car in second split, and they were leading the way. And now we tune into third split, and Get Pole Racing are still leading. And this is the #2 car who are leading the way ahead of their teammates, but by a big margin, 56 seconds. Marcel Schultz in fantastic form.
I'm curious what their current in-race entertainment is. They probably have their cell phone out playing some kind of video content of some sort right now. 56 seconds is a very comfortable gap, especially at a track like this. It's about basically a third of a lap right now. So I believe right now the Get Pole Racing Get Pole Racing 3 car currently running in P2 is probably on the complete opposite end of the Mulsanne straightaway right now. So it shows you the massive gap that Marcel Schultz right now has in the Get Pole Racing 2 car, currently leading by a wide margin right now, and not putting a foot wrong right now as he is getting lapped by some of the GTP cars. So right now he is having a very good showing from him, started from the pole I believe, and is maintaining a very nice gap here in that Ferrari of his.
Thanks to iRacing for helping us out for this event, because iRacing have given away a 1-year VIP membership to the top donor. Now, I believe, not 100% sure about this, but I think a VIP membership, I assume, is like all the content. So, like, you get a 1-year subscription for all the content. I didn't even realize they existed. I think a lot of people didn't realize they existed. I think they're given out very rarely. So it's a really cool thing that has been offered by iRacing. And, well, it's worth $2,000. This is, and whoever donates the most money, whoever gives the largest donation, gets the membership, the 1-year membership. So that could be over multiple donations, or it could just be one donation, and that is all donations up to tonight. So someone's gonna have a very nice iRacing subscription at the end of the day. I know I don't own about half of the iRacing content, so even for me, a veteran of iRacing, I've been on the service for about 7 years, even I would be very thankful for a prize like that.
I would be grateful for it too. I think I just barely reached the point on my iRacing membership where I get the discount for, I think, having, I'm not sure what the number is. I think it's like 40 pieces, yeah, I think that's the first discount you get. So I just reached that probably about a month ago. So it's, see, I have an excuse. I've only been on iRacing since 2020, then took couple of years off just to save my wallet, so maybe I'll have to donate to Make-A-Wish, and if you'd like to donate to Make-A-Wish International and raise some money with these with this Drive for Wishes event here on iRacing, you can follow the donation link in the YouTube and Twitch chats, and you can also take a look at the description. I'm sure it's down there somewhere, but yeah, the top donator, that'd be a very good thing. I'll call over my scented candle collection, the $75 I have to my name, and a couple of Applebee's gift certificates, and I doubt that'll be enough for me to get it, but hey, you gotta raise money somehow. $1, even if it's $1, even if it's $10, regardless of what money you donate, it's going to a good cause to help Make-A-Wish fulfill many wishes of children all across the world. I want to share this story at some point in the broadcast, so I figured I'd do it now. There's a story that I always hold near and dear to my heart. At the 1998 Daytona 500, it was Dale Earnhardt who went on to win that, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, and won the Daytona 500 yet. Went on to win it that year, and part of the reason why he might have done was because of a lucky penny that was given to him by a Make-A-Wish child that he was visiting during Speed Weeks of 1998, and went on to glue that penny on. His old crew chief that year, Larry McReynolds, said he had enough super glue on the dash to glue about 1 million pennies on there if he wanted to. So he glued that 1 penny onto the dash. He went on to win the Daytona 500, get that final gem in his crown, as the other NASCAR king, you could say. So that's some great stories like that all across motorsports. There's been a lot of motorsports-related wishes that children have asked for, especially involving the world of Formula One. So it's nice to see motorsports and Make-A-Wish unite to raise money for a good cause and put on a good event. We've had some great action across all 3 splits, and we hope to put on some even more action in the rest of this broadcast.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool story. That's, yeah, that day when Dale finally got over that hurdle of the Daytona 500. This is the closest battle currently going out on circuit. Now that is a back marker, I believe. Team Red X have just moved past, but the car in front of them is not far ahead. You can see that. That is the Pucast Motorsports team. Todor Dimitrov. Now, I learned the other day that Dimitrov is the most common surname in Bulgaria, so I'm assuming Todor is Bulgarian. There's also a very famous tennis player called Grigor Dimitrov, and there's also, I think, a Formula 3 driver as well, like a FIA Formula 3 driver called Dimitrov as well, who does a fair amount of sim racing. So, yes, I imagine he is Bulgarian. And, yeah, currently running in 11th position, however, losing time to Alexis Knoll behind 1 second behind in his Porsche.
So let me get this straight, Sam. You know the most popular name from the country of Bulgaria, the most popular surname from the country of Bulgaria. Did I hear that correctly?
My brother-in-law just randomly quizzed me on it, and I think I got it right because Grigor Dimitrov is the only Bulgarian person I know.
So you must know every single thing there is. If you got to that, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being an uncultured American swine.
What can I say? University educated Sam Fitzpatrick.
There you go. Multi-millionaire university educated Sam Fitzpatrick talking to a kid who was very excited to see the end of high school. There's a crash there in the other runoff area for the second chicane. That was, I think he Austin powered himself.
I think he could it have been crash test dummies, ironically.
Oh, that would be the irony of all ironies if that happened. We'll take a look at the replay here. Thank you, Jonathan. And we'll see what could have happened there. Oh, this is
yeah, this is a different
922, I believe. This is going
what's happened here.
Through Indianapolis, just overshot there badly, and ooh, any sort of contact there? I don't think so, unless something major happened here. Maybe some kind of oh, nope. I think that's it. So just a little bit of wide there for the other 922. So yeah, I'm not sure who went off there. I saw some smoke there, and I think I saw a car parked sideways in between the 2 rows of tire barriers. So I think they might have Austin powered themselves in the tire barriers in the runoff area. We might have it here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you can see the Audi.
This is the right
the send-off for the Audi, which actually just got announced that they're putting in a new Audi here. This is Lee Watson going into the runoff area. Ooh,
he's got lost. I think he's got lost there because he was applying the brakes, but way too late. I think he's just like driven and just got forgot where he was on track, and then it's just messed it up. But what he should have done was gone left to avoid the tyres. I know that, you know, you want to go through the tyre thing. Yeah, so he applies the brakes fine, doesn't he? But it's just too late.
Bonk. Yeah, that is bizarre. I mean, I know I prefer the old Le Mans layout without those back straight chicanes, getting away with my 240 mile an hour Thunder going down that back straightaway. But I'm kind of lost for words. That's a first. I've never seen a driver get lost in a race, but a little bit of front end damage they've had to tow back, so that's their chances of contending kind of washed away. Unfortunate for them. That's pretty big contact there. It's it wasn't the Austin Powers mode that I was expecting. I was expecting him to be sandwiched between the tire barriers, but he yeah, that's a first. I've never seen that before.
Closest battle between still Dimitrov versus Knoll. By the way, thanks to Advanced Sim Racing for also helping for this event. Now, Advanced Sim Racing have given $1,000 in gift cards away. That's 10 $100 cards, and there'll be various prizes given. So top split will get the most amount of prizes, followed by middle split and the third split. And that is, if you donate $1, you get an entry into the gift cards, and there's 4 gift cards worth £400, as this might be a move. Oh, he's not going to give up on it. That's a good move there from Dimitrov, but there is contact. Noel eventually gets past, but not without a fair amount of door rubbing right there. Gosh, that was very intense. I don't think that battle was completely over. But yeah, what I was saying was that, yeah, the winners in each class get a bunch of Advanced Sim Racing gift cards. However, there's also a random raffle for everyone who enters, and the more money you donate, the more entries you get in, so the bigger chance you got. Think of it as like the Hunger Games, where you got a more chance to get drafted up for the Hunger Games. In this, you get more chance of winning some nice gift cards. So you donate more, and you could well be getting some nice tuition there from Advanced Sim Racing.
That is a very interesting comparison, I would say. They're comparing it to the Hunger Games.
I watched all 4 films 2 weeks ago. It's fresh in my mind.
There you go. That explains it. I don't know. I don't really watch movies or TV shows or anything like that, so I don't have much to compare it to, but we've got a nice battle here. We've got some Hunger Games in the GT3 field here between the Porsche and the Mercedes. They had some massive contact there. Coming through the first chicane there, that was some being and banging, something you'd see on a NASCAR short track, but instead you're seeing it in these very aero-sensitive GT3 cars. I wonder if they picked up any sort of damage. Probably not. Fingers crossed for the both of their sakes that they didn't pick up any damage. But right now, that is a very close battle. I believe one of the closest battles we have on track. I say that we might see some action in the GTP category as they've come into the pits. The top 5 in the GTP class are running into the pit road right now. You can see the Flanders Racing Team. That's a beautiful name there. Kind of makes me want to get hot chocolate there. He's currently running in P5, so they're all close right now. And meanwhile, you can see some drivers further down the field. There's Flanders pulling into the pit road right now, the last of these drivers. And then you've got Brick Motorsports in the P6 position right now, the last of the drivers on track for now. They might pull into the pits here. We'll follow them as they approach the entry of pit road. We'll see if they pull off to the right-hand side and go into the pit road. Yes, they do. So we've got the pack at the front of the GTP field pulling in right now at High Velocity Racing Team 480. Picking up the lead once again, so they are leading now by 10 seconds over Air Tasker in P2, and then this is probably the longest name I've had to read out all day, the Eclipse Racing Esports by Skyline Designs team currently running there, but I believe we might be getting a full course yellow here in the future, if I heard that correctly.
We get 2 full course yellows in the race. One is in the first 4 hours and one is in the second 4 hours, and I think we might be getting our one here in the split 3 very soon. I don't think it's been ignited yet, but it may well be coming soon. And in the middle of the pit stops, well, I say in the middle of the pit stops, I think all the LMDHs now have pretty much pitted, so it shouldn't make that much of a difference. Also, we'll just say that Moscatole did get out of his GTP car. He's been replaced by Vaughan Jones in Air Tasker, and from what I can see, there's not been much of a change at the top of the GTPs. Just a bit of a gap now formed between High Velocity Racing Team 480 and Air Tasker in second place. Yep, still green flag, but expect to see that safety car come out imminently.
Yeah, that'll be a nice shuffle here to get the field closer. Right now, the field is spread out. Certainly in GT3, you can see the gap is now north of a minute between the front 2 runners in GT3. But further behind there, right behind them, in fact, there's a nice little paddle here forming for the final podium spot in the GT3 category. You can see the 2 drivers there pretty close on track right now. So that'll close up that battle once we get a as we get a full course yellow here, as we see a Cadillac running wide coming through Mulsanne farther in the back. But what we might need to do, if we get the full course yellow, we might need to go back to split 1, see what's going on there. We haven't checked on in them in a little while, so that will be what we have to do here in the not too distant future. Hopefully we won't pick them up in the middle of them having the full course yellow, so fingers crossed it times out well, not only for the drivers on track that are kind of relying on the full course yellow to help save their race, but also us broadcasting this on Make-A-Wish International's YouTube and Twitch pages right now. So this battle right now is the closest we have on track, about 0.3 of a second separating these two drivers as they exit Indianapolis and head towards the Porsche curves.
And it will be quite a long period as well, I believe, these full course. Yes, this is a very long circuit, and to do the wave rounds and such, I think we're going to be at least 15 minutes long, and I think it's probably going to be a fair bit longer than that, honestly. So, yes, it will be plenty of time for us to transfer over once it does occur. But yeah, at Singembe, I'm a big fan of that one. I don't know what it means, but I like it. I did lose 3 seconds on that last tour of the track, and continuing to lose time. It just seems like Sven Laber doesn't have the same pace as Patrick Soach right now, and so I think it's another move coming up here into the final couple of chicanes. Need to be careful not to pick up a slowdown around this part of the track, and soon they'll be back on to the start-finish straight. I would just give a quick rundown. I know we've been mentioning a couple of the prize sets that have been given out, but just a quick rundown. Thanks to Advanced Sim Racing, Apex Racing TV, Boosted Media, Equal Speed Academy Esports, Geodesic Racing, Gomez Sim Industries, iRacing, and SIMAGIC. All of those brands have helped out this event. Thanks to all of them for making this event possible.
We gotta thank all the donators right now. We're less than $300 away from reaching the $1,500 goal, so we are closing up on that quite rapidly here. So that'll be nice to break yet another goal for this beautiful event for charity, and it's nice to have people donating and also people joining us all around the world. We saw earlier in the broadcasters someone joining us that was watching this at 1 a.m. their time, so to be up so early in the morning to be a part of this event, this first of hopefully many Drive a Wish events here on iRacing, it'll be a great, hopefully the great start to a great partnership moving forward.
There has been a change now for P3 in GT3. Maguire's team has gone ahead. There they are. Maybe a mistake from Atsingham, but we are going to get a replay of it because all of a sudden quite a gap has formed between the two cars, and this might give us a bit of an idea. Nice. It was just a bit generous, wasn't he? Not turning into the corner, and once he got alongside, he realised that he was not going to win out on that one. He has been able to get the gap back down to about 0.6 of a second, so still in the draft, importantly.
As durable as these cars are, and as long as there is left in this race, as I say that, the yellow flag is out. So we have the full course yellow here, 1 hour and 30 minutes into this 8-hour affair here. So the yellow flag is out, and that is tough news for the Get Pole Racing #2 team that had a 1 minute and 12-second gap there for the other lead in GT3. So I'm sure they are being pretty upset right now, but everyone knew that this full course yellow was coming, so they can't be too upset.
Full course yellows on iRacing are a pain to implement. What's interesting now is that you're saying, okay, sure, the gap might come down from 1 minute 15 to nothing, but, well, actually, he's going to be a lap ahead because the GTP leader is between, on track, first and second in GTD. So I think there will be some wave rounds, so I think it will end up being fair and everything, but temporarily at least, when the pace car picks everyone up, Get Pole Racing 2 are going to be a lap ahead of everyone else. Now, I think after that, Get Pole Racing 3 and Co will get wave rounds and be allowed to catch back up to the rear of the field and sort themselves out. But yeah, for the time being, Get Pole Racing 2 will be a lap ahead of the rest of the field. So
that is a definitely a monkey I was going to say a monkey wrench thrown in the works. I'm not the best English speaker, but that definitely would have been my dumbest quote so far. So it's a wrench thrown in the works of this race right now. So that'll be nice to see how this plays out. As you said, going to be a pretty long full course yellow. These drivers are still going full bore trying to pick up that Porsche pace car here in iRacing. So those drivers are still getting some heat in their tires. You can see the Porsche pace car there about to enter the first chicane here on this lap. So still very long way for the Get Pole Racing number 2 car to try and catch up to the Porsche pace car there.
Few connection issues it looked like for Reese Smith. Aston Ladies, it's appearing all right now, but watch out for that car to blink a little bit more. There it is. And that pace car will continue lapping round until the lights go out, and then that will be an indicator that it's going to come in. But I think, would this be a good time to change over, do you think, whilst we are sat behind this pace car? Because this will take a while. So, yeah, remember, we will transfer over. We'll be back in either split 1 or split 2 in just a few moments' time.
On my hard days, I usually don't think about it. I just try to get to the next day and hope that the next day will be better.
My legs don't work like other people's, so I have to be in a wheelchair.
I take the needed medicine for everything that's going on in my body.
My wish is to redesign my bedroom.
My wish is to remodel my backyard. It's like that warm feeling, almost like, you know, something really good is gonna happen.